尊敬的各位家长、同学们，大家好，欢迎来到飞达教育系列线上讲座。在正式开始前呢，我们会稍微等待一会儿还没入场的学生和家长。首先，请大家锁定黄金5月，每周五晚上6点半，飞达教育特别邀请我们今年成功进名校的15位学姐学长们，分享申请大学经验，以及大学生们在藤校里的学习和生活经历。欢迎和哈佛、斯坦福、耶鲁、麻省理工、哥伦比亚、康奈尔、宾大沃顿、卡内基梅隆等一流大学学姐学长们在线交流互动答疑。飞达11年级的孩子们开始新一轮的申请季的全面准备工作啦！飞达创始人魏老师亲自开讲2020年申请文书撰写攻略，专门为11年级学生开设的 CAP Writing Workshop， 内容包括如何撰写 UC、Common App、CAS 等不同网申。魏老师连续16年被家长誉为藤娃背后的推手。飞达教育从2004年成立以来，成功帮助成千上万亚裔学生进入心中理想名校，持续每年傲人录取结果。哈佛、斯坦福、耶鲁、普林斯顿、MIT、宾夕法尼亚、哥伦比亚、布朗、Pomona、西北、杜克、芝加哥、约翰霍普金斯、南加州大学、UC 伯克利、UCLA、UCSD、UCI 等名校。我们提供最权威、最专业的高中规划和大学申请指导。飞达教育2018年被大学理事会认证为 AP 学分课的授课地点，2019年成功拿到美国教育界 WASC SEP 认证，提供 HBA 的 AP 课程、荣誉课程、A-G 学分课程。师资团队由美国大学理事会认证 AP 阅卷人、写作协会成员，拥有多年教学经验，保证教学质量。暑假不能外出，怎么利用时间提升自己的 GPA？ 飞达教育提供 UC 大学和 WASC 认证20门 AP 学分线上课程，足不出户上 AP 计算机、AP 历史、AP 心理学、AP 物理化、AP 生物、AP 微积分、AP 统计等，提升孩子 GPA， 增加升学竞争力。部分课程尚余少数名额，预报从速。关注飞达教育公众号 Instagram LVMaxOfficial 官方网站，了解更多升学资讯。ACT 魔鬼线上训练营开始接受报名啦！高效密集训练加最强课程与师资，等于飞达教育最强满分精英培训班。飞达王牌教师团队拥有多年 ACT 教学经验，提升学习效果。资深升学顾问、写作专家全程护航 ，SAT 平均涨分245.5分。AMC 8012线上美国数学竞赛班开始接受报名了，竞赛成绩和参赛经历为学生申请名校加分。飞达教育奥数竞赛课程帮助很多学生成功进阶 AIME 和 USAJMO、USAMO。名师名家线上写作阅读课程开课啦！任课教师包括大学理事会认证写作成员、资深大学申请文书顾问，拥有丰厚的写作课程教学经验。演讲、辩论课程培养表达、学习调研技巧，培养逻辑思维，提高自信心。由原伯克利大学主辩手、加州及全美高中辩论大赛裁判老师主持。增开一期小班教学，名额有限哦。福利时间到，锁定美西时间每周五下午6点半到7点半，线上公益教育讲座系列由飞达教育创始人魏老师、张校长亲自主持，讨论眼下学生和家长们最关心的时事与升学技巧。讲座结束后，更有魏老师、张校长亲自答疑。大家锁定黄金5月，每周五晚上6点半，飞达教育特别邀请我们今年成功进名校的15位学姐学长们，分享申请大学经验，以及大学生们在藤校里的学习和生活经历。欢迎和哈佛、斯坦福、耶鲁、麻省理工、哥伦比亚、康奈尔、宾大沃顿商学院、卡内基梅隆等一流大学学姐学长们在线交流互动答疑。谢谢您的到来。
Online webinar every week, and tonight we're coming at you the second session of college experience sharing by our college students, our college-bound students. Vicky, could you share the PPT? Because I don't think I'm looking at it. Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, second session. I hope you liked our event last week, and I guess you liked it because you're here again. So let me give you a brief overview of tonight's event. First of all, I'm going to give you the introduction of what tonight's event is about, what Ivy Max Foundation is, who our panelists are tonight, and who the guest speakers will be. And then we have the main event of tonight, which is a student sharing. You will meet 3 excellent students who worked with IBMAX before and who had like excellent results in their college application. And last, we'll spare a little bit of time for Q&A, so stay tuned for that. Next slide, please. Oh yeah, so if you like what we've been doing, so make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the month, because we'll have more similar webinars coming up at you, and you'll see more excellent students like from Harvard, Yale, UC Berkeley, Cornell, and so many more. Like great students who will share their experience and their stories with you. So stay tuned for that. Next slide, please. Oh yeah, I'm gonna introduce to you like a education interview with 1300 Radio. I think it's a radio station in SoCal, California, in SoCal, and it's like a weekly interview with our IBMAX founder and CEO, Mr. Shinwei, who is like very experienced in college application and college planning. So stay tuned for that. Also, it's every Tuesday, 2 p.m. And on behalf of IBMAX Foundation, I would like to ask you to make a small donation. I'm not asking you more. $10 is enough, but of course, the more the better, because every little thing adds up. And we'll collect the money to make the donation to the to local communities, such as the hospitals, the police stations, the senior centers, because you know we're in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and so many people have lost their job, and so many people need help in this situation. $10 is not a lot, but it could make a difference to people's life. And I would like to extend my biggest appreciation to our guest speakers, the 3 students, Austin, Caitlin, and Michelle tonight, for participating in our fundraising event. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. I'm sure you will motivate a lot of teenagers, and you will help out a lot of people. And your donation to IBMAX Foundation will be tax deductible, and it will give you like a certification for your donation. So I've been talking about IBMAX Foundation, so some people might not know what IBMAX Foundation is. So I'm gonna introduce IBMAX Foundation to you in Mandarin, because all our slides are in English. So IBMAX Foundation 飞达教育基金会成立于2013年，是加州政府认可的5013C 非营利机构。为了更好响应联合国可持续发展的目标，飞达教育基金会带领同学们在美国国内各大社区以及世界各地帮助弱势群体，培养同学们服务社区。COVID-19 抗疫期间，飞达教育基金会组织飞达各大学习中心的同学和家长们，积极捐赠口罩等物资和现金给警察局、医院、老人院等。如果你喜欢我们的讲座，你可以捐出10美元，所有捐款都可以抵税。在这些slide 上面，你可以看到这么多年来，飞达教育基金会对我们所获得的物资和现金的捐赠情况，所以都是我们帮了很多，无论是当地或者在世界各地区的弱势群体，都捐赠了很多的物资和现金，也帮助到很多人。同时，飞达教育基金会也是美国总统义工奖的授权颁发机构，每年积极进行义工服务活动，颁发总统义工奖，为升学加分。Thank you. Next slide, please. And here are the 9 centers, the 9 IBMAX learning centers in SoCal and NorCal, and I'm sure you know all of them because you're here. You get the information from our IBMAX Center associates. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to introduce to you the 3 panelists tonight, and they are Mr. Sebastian Montes, who is the IBMAX senior editor, and of course our beloved IBMAX principal, Ms. Vicky Zhang. She's not only the principal of IBMAX, she is also a senior editor and counselor. And of course, IBMAX CEO founder, Mr. Shinwei, who is also senior editor and counselor. Welcome and thank you for being here. I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Vicky Zhang to introduce our 3 guest speakers tonight.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Before I started to introduce the guest speakers, actually I'd like to share a very exciting story today. Just news came, right? Yeah, 我用中文讲好了哈。其实，我跟魏老师在飞达有16年了哈，每年其实都有一些让人喜出望外的一些消息哈。今天我觉得我最开心的一件事就是听到我们的一个学生哈，他UC 呢被 Berkeley 和 UC Davis 放到 waiting list， 就是放到候补名单上了。但是飞达的团队老师没有放弃，然后呢一直在鼓励他，然后也教他怎么样再写一封信给到 UC Berkeley。今天好消息终于传来了，他已经很如愿以偿的进入了这个UC Berkeley 大学。
Well， 那其实当然在保护学生隐私的情况下，我简单加2句，就是说，那一般的如果说高中生进入 UC Berkeley， 对吧？那有些家长或者说同学会觉得这没有什么太了不起吧，对吧？但是我要强调的是，那这位高中生他曾经9年级的时候这个遇到非常大的挑战，在这个公立学校，对吧？家长也都知道人多非常非常的复杂，结果一上高中就栽了跟头，有些课程甚至是把 F fail 掉了。所以在这种情况下，能够通过这几年飞达老师的跟学生和家长的共同努力，
不放弃，
一直不放弃他。那在今年毕业的这一年，总算这么好的消息，可想而知，就是说全 A 的学生进 Berkeley 都这么难，他曾经拿过 F 的，而且是好几门功课都非常糟糕的成绩下，最后能够经过大家的努力，今天被 Berkeley 录取了，真的是我们非常非常高兴，也为学生感到高兴，为家长感到高兴的一件事情。
对，这个孩子是5年在飞达，然后是8年级就注册进来了，觉得像自己的孩子一样，对，带上来。对，就是想说，我们今天的分享之前呢，给大家分享这么一个让人跌破眼镜的一个非常好的消息。其实我们今天除了这一个孩子之外，还有其他的很多的孩子都是非常喜出望外的哈。有兴趣的家长可以再仔细跟我们的去了解好了。好，刚才那个病呢已经有介绍，我们就是这是我们第2场这个大学申请这个学生分享的活动啊。那今天呢，咱们请到了这个3位同学呢，其实有2位同学是12年级，就是现在的12年级的同学，Kalen 和 Austin。那有1位呢，实际上是还在耶鲁大学的 campus 校园里头，是不是 Michelle？ 对 ，Michelle 呢，她现在是大2，还要进入大3。对，然后这3位同学呢，我相信，听过上一次我们分享会的家长哈，已经对上次的3位男同学有了很深的印象，对吧？然后他们怎么样这个很成功的进入了这个康奈尔大学、哈佛大学、贝斯坦福和耶鲁大学录取。那今天呢，我们就是请这个 Kalen 和 Austin 2位12年级同学分别来分享他们怎么样进入心中的这个理想的大学，一个是布朗大学和Pomona College。
对。
然后 Michelle 呢会来介绍这个耶鲁大学的这个大学生活和在大学里边的这些。我想呢，今天来的家长和学生真赚到了哈，他学到的不仅仅只是说怎么申请大学，而且大学之后，而且我们今天的这个重点呢是讲这个专业。其实这3位孩子呢，他们可能对自己的专业的选择，我感觉是在不同的起跑线上哈。
对。
那其中呢，就是3位同学有的呢是从初中甚至一进入高中就知道自己要做什么啊，差不多是这样子。
等会我们学生分享的时候再谈具体的信息吧。
那有同学就是说，那我到了9年级、10年级还是不知道自己要做什么，后来到了11年级，找到自己的这个 passion 和自己的方向，对吧？好的，那我们就现在开始介绍。第1位呢是Kalen 同学呢，那我就请这个 Sebastian 老师来隆重这个介绍这个
隆重推出吧。
对，好 ，Hey Sebastian，it's your turn. Could you please introduce Kalen?
So tonight we have Ms. Caitlin Rowlings. We had a very exciting and intense, but ultimately rewarding editing experience with her essays. her story is very useful to a lot of you, both as a cautionary tale and also as aspirational. So Caitlin, if you would please.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I think my slides are probably next. Yeah. So I go to Francis Parker High School. It's in San Diego, and obviously next year I'll be at Brown, and I'm planning to major in cognitive science or cognitive neuroscience. I'm not quite sure which yet. And that is, for people who don't know, is basically just combining like neuroscience, psychology, linguistics, and like computer science. Long-term wise, I'm not quite sure what I'll do with that, but for now, that's what I'm doing. And I guess we can go to the next slide. So just some activities that I was most involved in at high school. So I've been basically playing tennis my whole life. So I was on the varsity tennis team from freshman year to my senior year. And in my senior year, I was the captain of the team. I also was really involved in the Interact Club, which is the high school level of the Rotary Club, which is basically like a community engagement club. And so what we did is we basically planned different community service events for kids at my school, including one, which is the second picture, where we go down to Tijuana, Mexico, and we help build houses there. And the third really big thing that I was involved in was my civics.
So great, thank you, Caitlin. Next one, I would like to present Austin. Austin Yang, actually, he is going to Pomona College. Yeah, so actually, he has been featured on his high school
Website.
cover page.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a cover page boy. All right, so Austin, your turn.
Hello everyone, my name is Austin Yang. I've been going to the Holy Country Day for 4 years now, and next year I'll be going to Pomona College, majoring in environmental studies. So throughout my high school career, I spent most of the time on sports. I played 4 years of varsity water polo. I played 4 years of varsity swimming, ended up being captain of swimming junior year, captain of water polo senior year. I also was involved with a lot of IBMAX volunteer trips, and also a specific club within the IBMAX, which is the Non-Toxic San Diego. I was actually president of that for a while.
So last but not the least, Mr. Wei, would you like to present Michelle?
Okay. Yeah, Michelle was actually our student from 2 years ago. So current sophomore at Yale University, and taking over, Michelle.
Oh, wow. Find these pictures. Okay, well, hi, everyone.
Yeah, this will bring back some memories.
Yeah, well, this is a throwback. But yeah, I'm currently a rising junior. I just finished sophomore year in college. I'm currently majoring in computing and the arts, which is the combined major between computer science and visual art. I guess if we wanted to talk about high school experiences, throughout my 4 years, I did a lot of DECA, which was like an entrepreneurship business club. I also did a lot of art activities. So I guess like on the slide are a couple of those. Like the United Nations always has these poster competitions, so I always enjoyed entering those, as well as other various local art activities.
So our first question, actually we have been soliciting questions from parents and students. So we select some of the, we think that could represent most of the parents and students. So Caitlin, would like to know, how did you balance your schoolwork also with Senate test? I know you did very well your Senate test. Extracurriculars, you're playing tennis, right? And you're also doing volunteer and then research, and of course college application. So
yeah, I would say probably the biggest thing is, and I mean this is also just like all throughout high schools, like you kind of have to prioritize things. Like you're not going to be able to put your like 100% into every single thing that you're doing because there's probably a lot. So like what I found was best for me is like deciding what was important at that moment in time and like putting as much as my energy as I could into that, while kind of either like minimizing other things or like adjusting how much effort I was putting in. And like that is kind of like to everything, including like schoolwork. Like if a class is somewhat easier, so like maybe you don't put like all your effort into that, rather you're directing it to like other things. And I also think like for standardized tests, I did those like pretty early, which I found really helpful because you're not like waiting last minute. Because I know like a lot of people who maybe wait to the very end if they need to retake it or something goes wrong, then that just like makes things a bit harder. So I kind of knocked those out of the way, so I didn't have to worry about them when I was doing like my college application.
I would say my biggest sort of, I guess, progression from like having like a balance, like time management from high school to college is basically using Google Calendar. I kid you not. So in like high school, I would just have a physical calendar and I'd just get a marker and just like mark it up and just like put post-its inside of it just to keep track of like my priorities, like what are the like biggest deadlines I have to meet, like in terms of competitions or other products, or other projects. And I think in college, like because like there's just so many things to get involved with, it's just impossible to keep track with a physical calendar. Well, like it like saves money too. It says I don't actually have to buy one anymore. I just open GCal, I just like plug everything in because like almost every day there's like some sort of thing I need to do or like some sort of deadline. So yeah, just like it's really important to get organized, use a calendar application. Yeah, I would say that.
How did you spend your summers in high school / college? Okay, so maybe Austin can talk about that. How did you spend your summers other than playing water polo and swimming, right? Do you do anything else like research, philanthropy work?
Yeah, so strangely enough, my summers actually typically end up being more busy than my school years, right? Because I went on a lot of community service trips and I attended a lot of summer camp, and I always lose all of August to water polo because I just spend the entire time playing water polo 4 hours a day. It's quite tough on the body. And so because I know that I don't have August, I try to make the most out of June and July in order to work on things that can help develop me as a person. For example, like community service trips and summer camps.
Yeah.
You really don't want to be thinking about studying for the SAT or the ACT when it's literally your senior year and you're trying to write your college applications. Okay, just get that out of the way. It's not worth it.
That's true. That's very good advice. Yeah, for the younger. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like in high school, I spent most of my summers. I spent one summer doing like SAT prep, so just getting standardized testing out of the way, and then the other 3 I went to like summer art camps, like CISA, like the California State Summer School of Arts. And also like other ones at like art schools specifically, just to like use that time to really prepare for college applications, because a lot of them have like supplementary materials. Like for me, I applied as an art major, so I had to prepare a lot of art pieces in my portfolio. So that's what a lot of summers went toward. In college,
I guess like for me, it was probably like the biggest like 2 things were probably like, first of all, like pacing myself. I think with college applications, what makes them so hard is that you can sit down for like 3 hours and get like less than 1 essay done. And like you'll be trying to work the whole time. It's just like nothing's coming to you. But then once you kind of get down to the deadline, you'll sit down for like 3 hours and you'll like write 2 essays or like 3 essays. So it's just like hard to kind of judge how much time you think it'll take, because you think, oh, like this is a super short essay, like it won't even take me that long, like I can wait. But what ends up happening is a lot of times it ends up being way harder than you think it is, either just because like the idea or like the words aren't coming to you. So that's probably one of the hardest things. And then another thing is just like being a perfectionist is really hard to like, 1, stop working on something, and 2, also if I didn't like it, I like struggle to like kind of let it go. But like if you don't like it, just delete it all. Like that will be much better than just trying to fix something that's just not working.
College is this really interesting thing where you can actually just end up completely differing from your parents' opinions, right? Like if I had gone back in time and told my freshman me mom that I was going to major in environmental studies, she would tell me to do something that actually makes money, which is like, fair. So for incoming seniors, I think it's really important for you to connect with your parents and also like do a lot of soul searching yourself, because your parents might have certain expectations of you. And then like, if you never talk with them and you never really connect with them, they'll expect you to do something for your college applications that you don't end up doing. And it can cause a lot of grief during the application process and the decision process that you just don't want having. You want to get that out of the way before you start writing applications. And when the decisions come rolling in, your parents can be fully supportive instead of, casting a little bit of shade and being like, hey, why are you majoring in environmental studies?
Okay, so next one. All right, yeah, this actually question is very important because a lot of Chinese, especially Chinese parents, they're very concerned with the majors that students gonna to
Right.
do in college, right? That's actually the issue that Ms. Dre and I and other IMAX councils deal with on a daily basis, right?
Right, especially during the college application season, during that process, deciding the colleges as well as the overall strategy, what majors to apply to each college, because sometimes in many students' cases, they end up applying to different majors at different colleges. So how to really use that strategy to maximize their chances? It's a very challenging and in many cases end up being critical to the final results. So I would love to hear your guys' experiences, especially from Michelle's case. Right? I remember we applied arts and arts-related major when we applied to Yale, and now when you just open up your introduction, you said you're studying computer science and art. So that is really something quite different, but yet still related. So so I hope your experience will really shed some light on the whole process, and other students and parents can learn from it. All right, so in any order, Austin, Caitlin, or Michelle, which one goes first?
Yeah. How did you decide on your intended major to college? Yeah, so Austin, you want to give it a shot? Or Caitlin?
Go ahead, Caitlin.
Yeah, go ahead, Caitlin.
So for me, I never really had like a single interest like in high school. Like I was kind of like, oh, like I like every class. Like, so I never really, like I didn't have like a preset idea of like what I wanted to, again, like in long term and like what I wanted to do. So I wasn't thinking of a major as like a stepping stone to a certain career or anything. I was just kind of looking for a major that fit my interests like right now. So when I was like looking through majors, like when I found like cognitive science and cognitive neuroscience, like not all schools have that, but I just thought it gave me kind of like the flexibility of like you can kind of choose what you can focus in within that like major. And it was also a little bit on like the softer science side, but also still had like that neuroscience that I personally was like interested in with like behavior and things like that. And I just think like with majors, it's not like set in stone, like Michelle, like it's gonna change probably. But most of the time, like if you're choosing to major in something, it's not going to be like totally left field. Like you're going to be able to find things and like reasons for why you're interested in that. And I don't think like it's not going to be, most of the time you're not going to pick a major that's like totally random from what you're interested in and what you've been doing in high school. And you just kind of have to find those reasons, I guess, for like if you're trying to like defend it like in an essay or something, to find those reasons for like why you chose.
If I remember correctly, when I applied, I like for the 3 options you get to put down for intended major, I think I put in this order like art, architecture, and archaeology. Anthropology. Yeah, I just remember they all started with A. So like art and architecture, because like I was really into like the arts culture at Yale, because they have specifically like a Yale School of Art and Yale School of Architecture. I thought that was really cool. Also like a really famous like Yale alum like Maya Lin was like a huge inspiration for me. Like she's a really famous architect. And I think I put anthropology 3rd because I think that was like a field of study that was really represented in my like art portfolio and just like elsewhere in my application. I think I made it very clear in my application that like I was pursuing art like not as necessarily like a self-indulgent thing, but more of like I wanted to depict scenes that would like have some sort of like humanistic like impact. Like most of my art portfolio pieces were just like this series about like our relationship with technology, which I think like looking back on it, I guess kind of makes sense why I'm doing like a computer science combined major right now. like for anyone who's interested, the program is called Computing in the Arts. Like Yale has a lot of like interdisciplinary majors because they kind of pride themselves on being like a liberal arts education. So there's like any imaginable combination. There's like CS and economics, CS and psychology, CS and computing arts. Yeah, just everything. I think it's also because why I like declared my major as that is because like for me, like in the world of art, I feel like people have been doing a lot of like I feel like a lot of with the traditional mediums, you can never get tired of them, like painting, sketching and stuff like that. But I think like what's really exciting, really drives me is like the sort of new art forms that are being created nowadays, like with like the new like tools development technology. Like people are creating paintings with AI algorithms. Like people are creating like chat bots which like create all these like weird installations. Like that sort of like unknown just really excites me. That's just like one part of it. I think lately I've also been kind of exploring like two other options as well. Like I've been really getting into user experience research. So like how do people interact with the technology specifically? Like I think like a lot of things that we take for granted, like how many buttons does it take to complete like a purchase, or how many buttons does it take to like get help on a website. Like we take a lot of those things like for granted when really those are actually things that a designer has to really carefully consider. I find that really cool. And like I think the last sort of like direction I'm pursuing in this major is also things dealing with media. So like a lot of our media are like controlled by like several like big conglomerate companies, and they kind of really kind of shape like American culture. But like how can that be sort of like broken down, and how can like new voices be inserted into that? So I've also been really just like into like media arts lately. But yeah.
So they're curious to know, a couple of you mentioned the research opportunities. How did you find, you know, research opportunities in high school and in college for Michelle's case? Yeah, so Kaylin, you want to answer that question?
Yeah, sure. So for me, so I had my internship, it was through like a pharmaceutical lab that I had basically had kind of a connection to because my dad is in the pharma industry. So that's how I got my internship. But then once I was in the internship itself, I started working with some of the like people there, and because there's like they have this like annual presentation for like pharma scientists that like different companies usually go to like present something. So I basically was like doing like computer models for the pharmaceutical lab, and once I was like doing those computer models, then I started actually making that into like a research project. So that's kind of like how I got into my research and work, but yeah.
Okay, Michelle, anything to add?
I think I can kind of speak to getting research opportunities in college. All I have to say, it's like really easy. At least like at a liberal arts school like here, like people are usually like super down to just talk to you during office hours. Like office hours are essentially like for high schoolers who don't know, it's essentially when the professor's like, these are like 2 hours I set in each week where you can just come by my office and we can chat about anything. Like it doesn't have to be about coursework or homework. It can also just be about like research interests and other stuff in life. So yeah, there's just like tons of ways to get involved. Like what's good about Yale is that there's a lot of financial resources. It is a very like well-endowed school. So like when I first came here, I had no idea that like there were so many grants just dedicated to underclassmen, like first years and second years, just to get you started. So yeah, like it's not just like summer break either. Like if you want to do research over winter break or spring break, there's also grants for that. You just have to like talk to people, like you'll get assigned to like a counselor, an academic advisor. So you just have to like talk to like your professors and stuff, and like you can just get connected really quickly. And even if the person like doesn't really have a project that you're directly interested in, they can probably get you connected with someone who is. So yeah, it's overall really easy. Don't worry about it. You'll definitely find opportunities.
Okay, and I will add a couple more, really for high school students. I guess most parents today probably are interested in research opportunities during high school. So there are several different ways. Now, obviously, writing emails to college professors is the cold call way. Very challenging, very low success rate, but few of the Ivy Max students every year do get that kind of opportunities by contacting professors and soliciting interesting opportunities to do research. Now, of course, another major way is every summer there are research camps at many of the colleges. So as high school students, we also provide planning and advice and help our students every year getting into MIT's RSI, Stanford's CMER, UC Davis's YSP, Caltech's SSP, so on and so forth. So there's so many of those research opportunities as well that our students get into every summer. Now, of course, this summer is kind of strange. Many of those are either canceled or turned into online. So any sort of research that require wet lab access equipment are probably out of the question. So it's mostly going to be literature research online. But in the normal summer, there are a lot of opportunities that we help our students with. Now, there's also a third way many parents probably are not aware of, especially if they are not Ivy Max students' parents. We provide all kinds of research opportunities as well, especially affiliated with the AP Seminar, AP Research class series. So these were not available opportunities many years back, but since 2 years ago, we've started the AP Seminar series. Many of the students who take those classes do research as part of the course.
Actually,
so
as a rising sophomore, right?
Rising sophomore, rising junior, rising senior, all have pertinent opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also an introductory level research camp that we conduct ever since we had 4 or 5 years ago, the summer STEAM camp, STEM with an A. So it's STEM plus arts, humanities at UC Berkeley. So since then, we have expanded that program to also work with UCI professors at Irvine, UC Irvine. So this summer, even though it's going to be non-residential, we're going to open a couple of series of research, introductory level research opportunities online to help 9th graders, 10th graders, and 11th graders, if they haven't really done any research before, to kind of get involved in some preliminary research tools and how to do research and how to write research papers, so on and so forth. So that will lay the groundwork for them to continue doing more serious research later on, either in high school or when they enter college. So there are a lot of different ways and different opportunities, different platforms to leverage. And of course, parents who are interested, or students themselves who are interested in these kind of opportunities, can always contact our learning centers.
Okay, great. I think we want to wrap up.
All right. So, really to summarize what quite a few of the students and Sebastian also mentioned, really, whether you have a clear major in mind or not, many of the top tier schools, right, including Harvard, Stanford, so on and so forth, they are all interested in young people who have a mission in life, not just only an idea of what to study in college. So in your college presentation, when you write those essays, when you go through your interviews, when you interact with admission officers or anybody else in that whole application process, really make sure you form that clear vision of what your mission in life is. And if you can present clearly what that mission is to the prospective colleges, you will have succeeded. It goes a long way to make you a successful candidate in your applications. And of course, over the past decade, we have developed a whole bunch of platforms to really enable our students to work on various different humanitarian projects. And the students today were pretty modest, didn't really go into details, but many of them have participated in multiple times in multiple projects over their high school career. And again, right, Michelle mentioned when she gets to Yale, when she arrived at Yale, she finds other students all around campus who really all have that desire and willingness to work with others, to help others, and to contribute to society. And as you hear from Austin, from Michelle and everyone, really, whether they know what they're going to be doing or not in 5-10 years, they want to do something meaningful and contribute to society. So that's really what's going to be key in everybody's college application presentation. All right, anyway, so these successful students who get into top tier schools, right, according to Stanford's former provost and vice president, Dr. Miller, right, for them, leadership equals service. So it's not the number of titles you have or how many clubs you founded or you're president for. It's really how much contribution you have made and your service that makes a difference. So when students ask you questions, what to write about and what kind of activities really make sense in their essays, no matter what else you write about, this is probably going to be one of the major topics in your essays. All right, so again, SCFI, I don't need to say more. The really negative proposition from 2014, SCA5 now has evolved into ACA5 in California. This is only going to make our kids' college application effort more difficult to the UCs as well as to other colleges eventually when other states or other colleges try to adopt similar policies. Again, why do I bring this up today in this particular seminar and webinar? Really, I hope all of our students, the next generation going forward, to get involved in more than just studies and their academic careers, really get involved more in society and not let these kinds of things negatively impact our future as a race. So anyway, the following slides, I'm going to give it back to Ms. Bean to conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wei, and thank you to the other panelists, Vicky and Sebastian, and of course, appreciate our guest speakers tonight, Austin, Caitlin, and Michelle. Thank you so much for participating in our fundraising event. And again, make a donation. We don't need much, $10 enough. You can Zelle, PayPal, or send us a check. We really appreciate it, and you'll be tax deductible. So yeah, feel free to take a screenshot of that and so that you know how to donate to us, and we'll donate that to our local communities. And next slide, please. And don't forget to stay tuned for our Tuesday 1300 radio interview with Mr. Wei. You will learn a lot from that, I'm sure. And if you like our event, make sure to register for our coming webinars every Friday, 6:30 p.m. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited because we'll present to you more excellent students, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot from that. Next slide, please. And I think that's pretty much the end of it. And yeah, thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar. I think we had a lot of fun. And please stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong, and be like, to do something useful using this shelter-in-place order, and I'm sure you will learn a lot also. So until next time, see you. Bye-bye.
And thank you, students, Caitlin, Austin, and Michelle, and wish you all really doing so well and even better going forward. And of course, stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wei. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.